Welcome to another episode of Story and Things. We are a bookish podcast. I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli.
And today, Cheli and I have to improvise a little bit.
Yeah, we're separated.
I know. Doesn't it feel kind of weird? Because I'm not looking at your face.
Where are you sitting right now? Let's paint him a picture because obviously they can't see us.
Okay. Wait, first, let's guess. I think that you are in the podcast room?
No.
You're not?
No, because I can't. Why would I be in there if you're not there? What side am I supposed to sit on? I'd get confused.
You're like, I would feel way too sad.
I know. Would I sit in the middle?
Okay, so then are you in your bedroom?
I am. Where am I sitting?
You are sitting at your desk.
I'm on my bed because today I'm going for casual. Thank you.
Dang. So you must be so comfortable. Do you want to guess where I'm sitting?
I think you are at your desk.
No, I'm not.
No? Are you?
No.
Is this a bed pod?
No, it's not. I'm actually in the kitchen because I feel like down here I have a little bit more quietness. I hope anyway.
Oh my God. I really hope we get like a surprise collab with your brother.
I don't want that. You're just going to hear him cursing in the background.
Hey guys, this is what I think about Renera.
Exactly. But Cheli, you actually had like a topic for us to talk about. Do you want to get into it?
Yeah. Oh wait, did we want to talk about why this is our fates right now? Why we can't be together?
Yeah. So the reason why we can't be together is because we were going to meet up last weekend, the one that just passed, and stuff just kind of happened. So we have to improvise, and we didn't want us to not talk about the House of Dragon ending. So we are at our own places and we're just using our own mics, and we're going to figure this out. Hopefully it comes out good though.
I know. I really hope the mic quality is good. I will say I have no chair to crash into, so maybe this is a plus. Maybe this is going to be like our forever thing.
Oh God, no, I hope not. This might be our thing for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think so too. If it's something that sounds good, because if anything, we have other ideas.
Yeah, that's true. And plus, I don't know if we'll be able to see each other until like Thanksgiving weekend. Or the weekend before that.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy.
I know. I already miss you so bad. So yeah, that is our situation right now, but it's okay. We are figuring it out. And Cheli, you actually wanted us to talk about some book tea that you saw. Do you want to let me know which one?
Yeah. I you know me. I love the classics. I love them.
Oh my God. I knew that's the one you were talking about.
But apparently, not everyone loves the classics. Hi, welcome to Book Tea.
It's so weird because people get upset about the weirdest things. Like, why do you care whether or not I've read the classics?
Like,
I don't think they're that, I don't know. I don't think they're that life-changing.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Out of the classics that you've read, which one do you say is like the one that moved you the most?
It's because like the thing is that I can't even think about what classics, like which ones are they talking about? Because I don't even know if I've read them.
I mean, like Lord of the Flies.
No, I haven't read it.
The Pie one.
The Pie one?
Life of Pi.
No, I haven't read it.
The How to Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay, that one's good. I've read that one. But
what if I like slip in like a weird one? I'm just like, the
Harry
Outsiders, the Hunger Games 1 through 3,
1 through 3,
Twilight.
Oh my God,
Shakespeare, and it's like, oh, okay.
I mean, I've read Shakespeare, but again, I took a class for him, so
yeah. I mean, of course,
that's different. It's not like I did it because I just really needed to one random night.
You want to know something? Can I admit something? I don't care if you don't read the classics, and you being like a general term, like anyone. I don't care if people do not read the classics, but there's something in my heart that happens, and I don't know what the emotion is called. It has no name. But when someone doesn't like the classic that I like, it makes me sad.
What is it? Which one is it?
Well, currently the classic that I recently read was The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton.
Yeah.
And I feel very strongly about it after having read it. So I brought it up to a friend of mine and she was like, oh, that book sucked ass. And I was like, okay, first of all, rude. Okay. You don't know Pony Boy like I do. Apparently you didn't stay golden. Spoilers.
You know what this is reminding me of?
What?
Did you ever see someone like, how do I say it? Someone became viral on Twitter because they were trashing, what is that book called? Oh my God, I forgot. The one that you really liked.
The Catcher in the Rye.
Yes, thank you. So someone was completely like trashing it, but
Yeah.
I didn't see the entire video, but you could just tell that this person was probably just, I don't know, having fun, enjoying their life, trying to start a discourse on this book. And it turned into a huge discourse. And so many people were like writing for this book. And this is just what this is reminding me of. Like, if it didn't move you, it didn't move you. I'm sorry. Like, she
Isn't
probably
it
was,
so
I think it was a
funny?
girl, actually. I can't remember, actually. Now I feel bad.
Isn't it so funny though, like how overprotective we can get about books? But at the end of the day, I didn't agree with what she said.
Which one?
The lady who was like, you
Oh, the
need to
pink
read
hair?
the classics. Yeah.
I think she has pink hair. Yeah, I didn't actually see her video, but I saw everyone stitching her video.
She was basically, I don't even remember what she was saying how like book talk, you just come here and you read romance, you read all this, but you don't read the classics. And it's like, yeah, but you could read whatever the fuck you want. Mostly The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton.
Yeah, but somebody else brought up a really good point that it's kind of privileged for you to assume that everyone should have read the classics because they're all white authors. And I was just like, damn, I didn't even think about how these books even became so like
Classic.
popular. Yeah, like how they even became the classic that they are. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just, it freaking blew my brain.
No, yeah. And also, I love The Outsiders. I love it so much. I really think it's important to read it. Like me as a person. But there's like two things. Like you can't expect to be at a school where they can afford to get all the books for the kids. That's one thing.
Why, how many books are there?
Well, if you have 30 kids, you need 30 books. And it's like,
oh, I thought you meant it was like
up.
a series.
No, it like adds up. Like buying books in a class set always adds up.
Yeah.
But also, like, no one ever talks about how most of these authors that are in this like classics like space, they're like high-key racist, homophobic, privileged, like,
which is something that it's like so obvious, but it never really like registered in my brain until this whole discourse started. And it's not the first time we've heard this discussion, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I feel like it feels a lot stronger now. And I think it is important for us to note that these people were racist, they were homophobic. Like, why does it even matter if we read their books or not?
But then, like, when that comes around, because it's been considered a classic for so long, like, for example, if anyone's ever read The Boy in Striped Pajamas,
oh my God,
like
so sad.
That's considered a classic, and it's actually like a required reading in middle school. And
really, damn, that book.
Dude,
I haven't read it, but I saw the movie. The freaking movie like tore me up.
You want to know though? Like I loved that book and I loved that movie, and apparently it's like not a good portrayal of what happened in the Holocaust. Like it apparently does a really poor job, but no one talks about that. Yeah, it's like done really poorly, and people think it's like it shouldn't have been made. Technically, and I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know a lot, but I do know that like because it's a classic, it's like, well, you still have to read it, and it's like, well, are we just gonna say this about all classics? Are we gonna read Catcher in the Rye and just say everyone's a fucking phony? Like, what do we do?
Yeah, and I mean, not every classic you can't relate to every single one of them. So even if you really feel a certain way about one, it's like not everyone's gonna feel that connection.
Exactly.
But yeah, that girl, bad vibes all around.
That being said, I do think The Hating Game should be considered a classic. Thank you.
Oh my God, boo.
I
tomato,
think you
tomato.
Stop. Stop it. I think it's so good. Thank you.
There's you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything.
Instead of talking about, the hating game, a piece of art, why don't we talk about what we will be talking about today?
All right, so we're finally going to talk about, it only happened 2 days ago, the finale.
Yeah, dude, it's still fresh.
I know. We're going to talk about the ending of House of Dragon. So if you saw the last episode that we did, we covered episode 1 through 5. So today we're going to do 6 through 10, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. I think this time we're just going to go over the major points of every episode. But as we go through the episodes, I think we should talk about how we felt at the time.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And also just something I think we should mention. Don't watch this one if you didn't watch our first recap episode. I think you should probably know what's happening in episodes 1 through 5 because we're just going to assume you know it. I do recommend you watch 6 through 10 first.
Yeah, because
you
we're
want to know, because we're not really telling you the whole story. We're just going to be talking about our thoughts.
Yeah, this is just two besties hanging out, talking about House of the Dragon.
Thank you.
All right, so episode 6 was titled The Princess and the Queen. This one... Okay, sorry. We're not talking anything at all, right? About, who the characters are.
No, we know who they are.
Okay.
They're bad bitches.
They are bad bitches, it's true. So this one has a major time skip. This one goes forward 10 years. So it starts off with Rhaenyra giving birth. And yeah, she's giving birth, pushing that baby. And then she's holding her newborn, freshly born baby when I think it was a lady's maid probably who comes in and is like, Queen Alicent is calling for you. And poor Rhaenyra
wishes to see the baby.
Oh, yeah. And of course,
she wasn't calling for Rhaenyra, by the way. She only wanted the baby.
Well, I mean, Rhaenyra's not going to leave the baby, obviously. It's too soon. No. The baby was just born. And so Rhaenyra just, puts on a little, what is it? Just a little, over thing? A little over herself. But then she's, bleeding as she's walking all the way to where Queen Alicent is. And her husband, Laenor, is with her. And you can automatically tell that Laenor and her, no chemistry between them. We already knew that. But, I don't know if you thought the same. I thought maybe there would have been a little bit of something between them. There was nothing at all.
I thought they were going to have like a friendship or a bond where it's we're doing it for our people.
I think they did have a bond, but it wasn't really shown.
It wasn't as strong.
Yeah. It wasn't shown as deeply. But anyway, so she's going all the way to where Queen Alicent is. And in this moment when Queen Alicent sees Rhaenyra and the baby, you can tell that she's inspecting the baby. And she just looks at Laenor and she's like, well, maybe the next one will look like you. Because she knows all of these kids, they're not his. And so far, she had how many? 3?
She had
4?
3.
She had 3 and then that was the 4th?
No, that was the 3rd.
Oh, that was the 3rd. So the other 2 are a little bit older. They have hella brown hair. And remember, they're Targaryens. They're super blonde.
Yep.
And then you can... Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you can tell who the father is too. Because literally the same hair, the same texture of hair is the knight that protects Rhaenyra.
Yeah, Sir Harwin Strong, which you kind of saw sprinkles of moments between them in the previous episodes, but nothing really that deep. So he's like holding the newborn baby and he's just like all proud. He's a proud dad. And just to go, quickly forward, there is tension between Rhaenyra and Alicent because Alicent is trying to out her for being, a whore, I guess, because she's super religious. So, this matters to her. And she thinks that Aegon deserves to be king. I think Aegon at this point is 13 probably, maybe 10. And so you see this disparity between the two families, and Prince Aegon is so he does not even care, because I think in this episode she also mentions oh, you could be the next king, and he's just I'm good. He has no interest.
I hate it, dude, because there's literally a point. I think he like says like, no one's gonna fight me for this. You know,
Yeah.
I don't remember what he says, and Alicent blows up on him and is like, "You're literally you. You don't know how much shit we had to do to get you at that point. Like, you can't be like this."
He gives no fucks. And he is Alicent's eldest, so he would be the heir. But remember, Rhaenyra was the one who was named the heir of King Viserys, which, by the way, King Viserys is alive. And in the last episode, it made it seem like, oh, he's gonna go. He's knocking on death's door. And but he looks very frail. And he kind of has this disease where it's like deteriorating him. And you can tell, like, oh, it's like gradually deteriorating him.
Yeah.
But just quickly, so Sir Criston Cole is still here. He's kind of Alicent's right-hand man. And in this episode, do you remember that he called Rhaenyra a bitch?
Yes. And then he was like, sorry, queen. Out of hand.
Sorry. My bad, queen. I'm sorry. I'm still a little bitter, but I don't want to talk about it.
No, Sir Criston Cole. Slay. It's like, thank you. Thank you, queen.
Was Daemon shown in this video, in this episode? Daemon?
Yes, we figure out that Daemon is living in this other, like, town. And in this town, there's, like, no need to worry about politics or anything because they're basically being treated as guests. And remember, he got married to... Laenor's sister. Laena?
Yeah, Laena. Yeah.
And they had hella children together. They had 2 daughters and 1 coming up. And
yes.
It was said in this one that Laena didn't really like this life. She really wanted to move back to Dragonstone because that's where her family is from.
Yeah, with the Valerians.
But Daemon had no intention of ever leaving this place. He was good with just literally being lazy.
Yeah, well, lazy politically, because I think he was helping like in different ways, like with those people that he was staying with. But then at the end of this episode, Larys, who is Alicent's kind of like secret spy, who has like a cane, he orders like how do I describe it? He orders a murder to happen to Sir Harwin Strong because Sir Harwin Strong has to leave. But wherever he's at, he also kills like all of the people there, which is actually his dad as well because Larys is Sir Harwin Strong's brother.
It was bad. They killed everyone in Harrenhal, and I think at the end of this episode, we have Alicent who's like, I didn't ask for this. And it's like, oh, but you did. You did.
He was like, you didn't even have to ask, queen. I saw you blink funny and I knew. Kill them.
I knew what you wanted.
And why
knew what you wanted, bitch.
Why did he do this? Do you remember? She was upset about Sir Harwin Strong, but she was also feeling lonely because her dad used to be the right-hand man to the King Viserys. But the right-hand man was currently Larys and Sir Harwin Strong's dad. So he was like, okay, I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to kill the dad and Sir Harwin Strong. And then Alicent's father will be reinstated as the right-hand man to King Viserys.
You're right, because Alicent was mentioning that there's no one who has her back in the kingdom.
Yeah, because she was the only one who really wanted Aegon to be the next heir. Everyone else was kind of just like, nah, it's Rhaenyra. Yeah. It's Rhaenyra.
And so also wanted to mention when that happens, when the people in Harrenhal die and Strong, who's Rhaenyra's freaking side piece, also dies. We also see that Laena, who's Daemon's wife, couldn't give birth and was basically... Daemon was put in that position like, do you want us to open up the stomach or do you just want your wife to basically pass? And then we see another scene where Laena's running outside to her dragon and she asks her dragon to just kill her and she gets burned alive with her baby. That's the end of the episode, basically. But we did want to mention that Rhaenyra, she knew people were talking shit. Okay, she knew it.
Oh, yes.
They
She
were
knew
talking
it.
shit left and right, and because they knew, they were questioning the parentage. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were questioning the parentage of Joffrey.
Jacaerys.
Sorry, yeah,
Joffrey.
And Lucerys.
And Lucerys, yeah.
Yeah, they were questioning the parentage of her 3 kids, and she was like, you know what? They be talking too much shit here. We need to go to Dragonstone because it's going to be a lot better.
It can also be punishable by death. Like, her and her kids could be killed. But even though it was kind of obvious to everyone, King Viserys was so blind because of his love for, Rhaenyra and her kids. He was like, no, they're perfect. They look just like you. He even said that to Laenor. He was like, he has your nose. It's like, please, you know what's up. He was so loving to Rhaenyra and her kids in comparison to how he was with his other children. I don't even think he even looked at them.
Dude, can I say my thoughts on this episode?
Yes, go ahead. Go. What were your thoughts?
Because there was a scene that we didn't talk about, but we do get to see all the interactions between the kids. So it's mostly...
Oh, the cousins. Yeah, the cousins. Mostly
Jason, Luke, and Aemond and Aegon.
Yes. So Alicent has, the eldest is Aegon, then Aemon, and then Helena.
Oh, yeah, Helena, which is the daughter. But we mostly see the interactions between the boys. The girl, Helena, she kind of does her own thing. She looks at bugs, talks about them, freaking
and
love her.
She has dreams. She has prophecy dreams. But we'll get into that later.
Okay. So we see the boys together and they're basically training with their dragons. And we realize that Aemond, he doesn't have a dragon. Mm-hmm. And they make fun of him for that. And let me just tell you, I was Team Aemond at this point. I was like,
oh my God. You would.
Poor kid. Dragonless? In a house full of dragons?
Not in the house of the dragon.
Dude,
dragon.
If I had been at Dragon Camp or whatever they were at.
Dragon Camp.
and my good cousins and my beautiful, beautiful brother was like, you know what? We finally got you a dragon. And they pulled a pig out. If I had gone through that shit, oh my God, I would have been so angry.
Yeah, well, he was angry. He was very bitter about it.
Aemon's like, bitches, get out of the way. I'm going to start swinging, and whoever I hit, I don't feel sorry.
I don't even give a fuck. Yeah. Yeah, no. It was pretty sad, but remember, they're kids, so.
Yeah, but it hurt. But yeah, I really was on Aemon's side, Team Aemond. Okay. But Rhaenyra, she was getting on my nerves.
Oh, really? Why?
I just hate that she thought she could get away with it.
Well, she wasn't going to sleep with her husband. He's gay.
But they did sleep together. They did.
They said that they did it, but I think it was only once. Because she said that she was hoping that it would have been his, but it wasn't. Yeah,
and I it's an arranged marriage, and she even says it in a later episode that she just wants to feel wanted. Mm-hmm. It just feels like a lot of the things that she does out of spite.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with that. What is that audio? I support women's rights, but I also support women's wrongs.
I know. Thank you. You know what? You set me right. I am Team Rhaenyra again.
Oh my God. That's all it took was that audio. Love that. At this point, I was feeling very scared. I was nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen with Rhaenyra and her kids. I obviously didn't want... I mean, it's so obvious that they're not Laenor's kids, but that's why I was so scared for her. I was like, "Oh my God, girl, you gotta dye their hair or something. You gotta hide these kids."
Dude, I know. Literally, that's all I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, why doesn't she just box bleach it? What?
Or just go bald. Just make them bald. I don't know. It's just,
I get it.
But all right, let's get into episode 7. Do you want to just tell me what you wrote for episode 7?
Yep. This one I wrote in order. Thank you. So the funeral for Damon's wife was low-key freaking shady because it starts off with the funeral and they're at the the ocean basically because they were gonna
because he's the sea snake.
Oh, you're right. She's the sea snake. So they were just gonna put her in the ocean in like a very heavy casket. And we have Lanor's, I don't remember his name, Lanor's dad,
wasn't it
who's talking? Colas, thank you.
Yes.
He's basically like, oh my gosh, we had this family right here. This family has the thickest blood. Lena had the thickest blood and the truest blood. Can't say that for everyone.
Hey, he's looking at
anyone, Renera? Anything to say about that?
He's looking at Jacaerys and Lucerys. And they were so little in this episode, by the way.
Yeah, they were. And fuck freaking Damon. Because he laughed when they said that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can't.
So the only theory that I saw people saying, but I saw multiple people saying was he was looking at Rhaenyra. And remember, him and Rhaenyra have kind of like this, like, ooh, sparks are flying ever since she was like, what, 14? And he's her uncle, don't forget. And so he's looking at her and her kids while Sir Collis is pretty much insulting them. And so people were saying that he laughed to kind of put the attention on him so that everyone will like kind of stop thinking about that.
Okay. I don't believe that one bit.
It kind of makes sense though. Because, like, why would you laugh? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Even when I first watched it, I was like, I don't understand the laughing.
I don't think Damon is all he's cut out to be. I'm sorry. First of all, I'm not wearing a hoodie and I don't have a bun up, but just imagine I do. This is my apology video. I don't like Damon. I don't like him. I fucking hate that man. And I don't think for a second that he would do something.
Well, he's supposed to be a very morally gray character. I mean, he does have certain things that he's done in the book that were not shown in the show.
Really?
Where he would fit more as a morally gray character.
Okay.
Keep going. We're not talking about this yet.
Okay. So the funeral's over and they're having a little like funeral after party. I guess that's not really a good word for it.
A little get together.
They're all talking and we see Jace, and Jace is like just like on the corner, and Rhaenyra goes up and is like, hey, what's up, Jace? What's up? What's good? And it's like, Mom, you know for a fact we shouldn't be here. Like, we need to be somewhere else. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then I think he just outright asks her, is Strong my dad? Is Strong my dad? And she's like, shut the what?
I don't think he asks. I think he just kind of states it. I think he just says it. Like, you know why. Yeah, no, because you know why we're not supposed to be here.
Exactly. And then he even brings up, like, I want to be at the other funeral. We shouldn't be here. We should be at my dad's funeral. And she gets really angry and is just thrown off by it. But this is the first time we ever see one of the kids mention, like, their other parent. And so Jace goes up to Damon's kids, which I don't remember their names, Rhea and Bela.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, goes up to them and is comforting them. But we do get to see a little bit on how everyone is acting. So we get a glimpse of Aegon and the type of person he is, because remember, Rhaenyra is set up to be the next queen if Viserys dies, but Aegon is like, everyone kind of wants him to be king because he's also the first son. But he's such a fucking drunk. All he does is drink and look at girls. That is all he does.
Yeah, he does not give a fuck.
So he's over here getting drunk. Rhaenyra's over here trying to stop Jace talking about her real dad. Freaking Laenor is in the freaking ocean, and it's getting to the part where Colas is just like talks to Laenor's lover and is like, go fucking get your man. And he says it in a way where you're just like, oh yeah, you know they're dating. You know
Yeah.
they're dating. But it's like, it's such a fucking mess. And it just gets worse because I don't remember who mentions it. Doesn't someone mention that Rhaenyra is not, or sorry, that Laenor's not the husband of the kids?
The husband?
Sorry, not the father of the kids?
Not in this. Wait, is it this episode? No, not in this episode.
Not in this part, I think. Okay,
No.
so basically you get to see that Aegon is a drunk. So when this get-together starts to die down, we do see the kids go back to their rooms. Rhaenyra leaves, and we don't really see where she goes for a bit. But I do want to talk about Aemond first. No, actually, we should talk about Rhaenyra first.
Aemond was last. At this point, Rhaenyra kind of... Remember... Oh, wait.
No, Rhaenyra...
Oh, yeah, yes.
Rhaenyra's walking at the beach.
Okay, so Rhaenyra's walking at the beach. And remember, there's been tension happening between her and Daemon. But Daemon is now single. And Rhaenyra's lover, Sir Harwin Strong, was killed. So she's technically kind of also single, but she still has her husband. And so they kind of meet there at the beach. And you can tell that, okay, something is happening again between them. And he mentions, or they kind of mention how they haven't really spoken to each other this whole time. But he tells her, like, oh, you were too young, right? He kind of insinuates, like, when something was going to happen between them, she was way too young. Because I think she was, 17? And 10 years have passed. And so she looks at him and she's like, well, I'm all grown now. And they have sex at the beach.
Oh, my God.
On the same day as the funeral.
Can I tell you, though, when that was happening... Aemond was running around, and I fucking swear to God, I thought he saw them.
So did I. I thought that's what was going to happen. I was like, oh my God, the freaking drama is going to blow up in front of everyone's face. But what happened was, so Daemon's ex-wife, what was her name? Laena. So Daemon's ex-wife, Laena, had a dragon, which is one of the biggest dragons. I think it's the second biggest dragon in House of the Dragon, like, lore. And so now the dragon has no rider. And so Aemon is, like, running around the beach and stumbles on Vhagar, I think is the dragon's name.
Yes, Vhagar.
And somehow claims the dragon. Can't remember how. I don't even think it matters.
Dude, and a big freaking fuck him, because that dragon, technically Baela, which is Laena's daughter, Daemon's daughter, she wanted to claim it because she also doesn't have a dragon.
Yeah, it was supposed to be hers because that was her mother's. So he kind of like swooped in, cut in, and then it just kind of happened. And so before we get into more of that, there is a fight between the cousins because he's kind of like bragging, right? That he finally has this big ass dragon and Baela is obviously hurt. And he's aggressive, right? I think he starts off being aggressive, if I remember correctly.
He comes in aggressively because Baela, Lane, I don't remember their names.
Laena?
Is that the other girl? No, Baela and Ray.
Rhaena. Isn't it Rhaena?
No, it's just Ray.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah.
Baela and Ray.
Baela, Ray, and Luke are there, and they're kind of like, what are you doing?
I think just Jacaerys is there too, though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because it's the two brothers and the two girls.
Oh, you're right. So they're all basically there to greet Aemond, and they're like, what are you doing? What did you do? And it's like, you know what? That dragon's mine.
Mm-hmm.
I claimed it. And of course, Baela's angry because it's supposed to be her dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But they start fighting, and it starts off with like punching, shoving. But then I think it's Aemond who picks up a rock. And at this point, it gets more aggressive. So...
And more violent.
Yeah, so is it Jace who takes out a knife?
I can't remember who had the knife, but pretty much, I'm pretty sure it was Lucerys who grabbed the knife because he was trying to save or
You're
get
right.
him off
It
of
was
his
Lucerys.
brother. And he just like slits the knife right across Aemon's eye. It was the left eye. And so he doesn't have an eye anymore.
Yeah, and it went by so...
Damn. Things
It went by
picked
so
up
quick.
so fast.
I know, because of course the parents get their kids, or sorry, it's the knights who bring the kids, and the parents and Viserys.
So they're still having like a little get together, but now it's in the castle, and they're in like kind of like its own little room. I don't know if it's the throne room, but it's like its own room, and everyone is there, even Rhaenyra and Daemon and the Valerians. And the kids are brought in, I think, by the knights. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. But Alicent sees Aemon's eye, and of course, she freaks out. She's just like, you have to punish him. She's telling the king this. You have to punish him, an eye for an eye. And she's like getting so worked up. And King Viserys is just like, no.
And
that's my pride and joy. No.
Before anything, he is saying no. He's saying we shouldn't do this, but he does go up to Lucerys and says, why did you do this? And it was because they had called him a bastard. And and so then
that's how the fight started between the cousins.
Exactly. So Viserys looks at Aemon, and Aemon's like, or Viserys is like, okay, who told you that? And
Who
he
told
looks
you
around.
this lie? No. But he says, who told you this lie?
Yeah.
He's just like immediately already saying, no, that's not true in front of all of the guests, obviously, because everyone's just looking at him. But did you
notice too, when Viserys said that, Aemon not only looked at Aegon, but he also looked at his mom. He looked at Alicent.
He looked at Alicent first.
Yep.
And that's when I thought, oh, he's going to say it's Alicent, which of course it would have freaking blown up.
Dude, that's what I wanted.
But then he said it was his older brother Aegon. But Aegon was such a drunk that he was like, "What?"
He didn't know. But then because Viserys was pressing it, Aegon was like, "The reason I said it is because look at them. Everyone knows. Like, why do you guys act like we don't know?"
And I feel so bad because Rhaenyra is literally just holding onto her like two babies, like her two kids, and just like they're like scared, and she's just like, "Oh my god, how dare you!" First of all,
that's the point where Alicent brings up an eye for an eye. And when Viserys denies it and like everything looks like it's ending, she does grab a knife and run towards the kid.
It's the king's knife, so she takes it from him.
Yes. And she is ready. She is so ready to cut that eye out. And
Rhaenyra she storms towards the kids because she's gonna do it herself.
Yes. And Rhaenyra is standing between her kid and Alicent and basically says, they really, really looked up to you, but now they see you for what you are. And dude, freaking powerful. Oh my god.
Yeah,
and
but then Alicent does end up cutting Rhaenyra. I don't think it was on purpose, but through the struggle, she cuts Rhaenyra, and I think that kind of breaks the haze, right? Her anger haze.
Yes, it does, because my god, that makes it a lot more real. Like like her intention.
Yeah, because she was bleeding all over.
Yeah. Just to speed up the ending of this, it is said, Aemon says, you know what, Mom? You need to calm down because yes, I lost an eye, but I did gain a dragon. Which is when they figure out. So that's really
all that matters.
Yeah, that's when they figure out that he claimed Vhagar. And at the very end, Laenor gets like an agreement with his lover and Daemon, and they basically fake his death so that Laenor and his lover can escape.
Rhaenyra goes up to Daemon and they're kind of like, I need you to marry me. And he's like, I can't because you're already married. And then they kind of start plotting like, okay, well, we got to get rid of him. So they fake his death, but everyone is kind of like, everyone thinks that he's dead. Like no one knows that he's alive except them two.
Yeah, and also I think, remind me if I'm wrong, Daemon and Rhaenyra bring up that like, oh, it's good for us because if they see what we're capable of like attempting to kill someone, then we're going to be unstoppable. But they don't want to be viewed that way by their family, but just like by others, right?
Mostly the Greens, but yeah. Because Alicent has because her dad is now the right-hand man, and she also has Sir Kristen Cole. He's still there. He's like a freaking bug. Like, he's always there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I think this ends in their marriage, no? Because everything happened really fast.
Yep, it ends with them getting married.
And the end. That's how the episode ends.
Thank
what
you.
were your thoughts?
My thoughts are the same as the last episode. I still hate Rhaenyra. I hate her so much. I hate how much she thinks she can get away with. And I don't know if Daenerys from Game of Thrones was the same way.
Well, you don't know anything about Game of Thrones.
I know, but like a lot of people compare both of them, and I always see it and it makes me kind of angry.
Well, they compare them because she is the first queen, I believe, and Daenerys was like the last one. Well, of what we've seen, right?
Yeah.
And it's because, they were both kind of the underdogs and no one really wanted them or saw them in that position. And yet here they are, queens.
Okay. I get it.
Okay, but do you want to elaborate though? Like, what do you mean she can't keep getting, like, she can't keep, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
I just really hate, like, that whole scene when they were in that meeting room and Aemon didn't have an eye. And Rhaenyra was like, she was the one that brought up that Jaehaerys and Lucerys were being called bastards. And I hate that she was like, can you believe it, Dad? They don't believe that, Laenor's a dad?
Well, she was also getting very anxious because she knew that if her kids were outed, they were probably going to be killed. So in this episode, I'm pretty sure in this episode, she also tried to convince Alicent, you know what? Let's move past all the petty bullshit. Like, what if we just marry our kids together, to build that bond or that bond between the two families again. But Alicent was like, she was offended by that question. She was kind of like,
why would I marry them to those? They're supposed to be Targaryen.
Brown-headed babies.
I know, but it's like, I just hate.
You want her to just come out and be like, yeah, they are bastards.
I just want her to like freaking face punishment because of course she's Viserys' favorite.
That would literally be death.
Maybe she shouldn't do that then.
Oh, you wanted her to just stay with Laenor? He's gay.
Oh my God. Do you remember that part where they were like, the kids literally were bleeding and they're like, where's Laenor? And Alicent was like, oh, probably entertaining a sailor. Oh my God.
Because everyone knows. Literally everyone knows. And I feel like that's more embarrassing for Rhaenyra because she's over here. She has to, still have this image of, the future queen. So she has to, figure out a way to keep her kids safe while Laenor can go over there with any guy that he wants. He doesn't even have to be there.
I know. I don't know. Do you like Rhaenyra?
I fucking love Rhaenyra. I was writing for her. I was writing for her till I told you from the very last episode. I said, the last episode that we did for the podcast, not like,
yes.
I told you I'm gonna ride for her no matter what. And I'm ready for the war crimes. I'm ready.
No, I don't. I'm not a fan. Oh my God.
Well, what do you want her to do? Just like out herself? Better. She already has the kids. Okay. Like she has to deal with that.
Yes. Okay, I get that. We'll talk more about this later. I'm just going to put like a freaking pin on it because she does say something later that I'm just like, this is why I don't like you.
So in the next episode, 6 years have passed, right? And so if I remember correctly, this whole time, Rhaenyra and Daemon have not been in the castle. Like, they've been in their own, I think it was, like, their own place.
I thought they were in Dragonstone.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they were in Dragonstone. And so Sir Corlys, he's been MIA. This is this episode, right? That he's been MIA?
Yes.
So he's been MIA. And just to state, Sir Corlys and Princess Rhaenys, which that's his wife, they kind of feel a certain way towards Rhaenyra now because they think that she orchestrated his death. They don't know that he's still alive and he's out somewhere, drinking a martini with his sailor. So they don't know that. So they are all called back into the castle because I think the king is like sick.
Yes, he is.
He's sick, so everyone's going back to the castle. So Rhaenyra and Daemon are there, and Rhaenyra is pregnant. She's hella pregnant.
I do want to mention, so when Rhaenyra and Daemon go to the castle and they see Viserys for the first time, he is like skinny. Half of his face is covered in bandages, and he seems just like in like a daze. Like he doesn't really know what's going on around him.
He looks like a corpse. If you've seen the show, he pretty much got like a bunch of it kind of looks like flesh eating stuff on his like skin. Like it just looks all like yellow and sunken in. So that's what he was dealing with this whole time.
And so when Rhaenyra goes up to him, she's like, okay, I want you to meet someone. Here are the twins. And she named her kids Aegon and Viserys, which is such a freaking this is better Aegon. Like this is the Aegon you're gonna love.
I know you already have an Aegon, but my Aegon is better. And he was so happy to see them. He was like, Viserys, a good name for a king. Like, it was so cute. And the twins they're like, what, toddlers? And so she's there and Daemon is there, and they're kind of taking in his state, right? His health, because they haven't been around. And so they're taking in how deteriorated he is. But you can tell that he's not only like physically deteriorated, he's also mentally deteriorated, because he has to constantly drink like poppy seed, like some sort of drink that'll kind of like numb him completely, or else he won't be able to deal with the pain. But the drink does kind of affect his mental state.
Do you notice though how like when he asks for the tea, Daemon smells it?
Yeah, because I think he was checking to see if it was like laced with anything. But also, I don't think the drink that he took was normal for. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, because he did bring it up. He was kind of like, I can't believe you're giving him that, because I think it's supposed to like numb him completely, right?
Yes,
something like that.
I think so, because like stopping there for a bit. On the other side of the castle, we have Alicent, who is dealing with a maid, and she's
my
like
God,
in tears.
No, she's like hella crying.
She was caught with Aegon, and you know, they were asking Alicent was asking the maid what happened, and it was like,
but you can tell that she kind of already suspected that her son did something. Like you could see it in her face. Like, what happened? Like, tell me.
I know, because
what did he do?
This maid basically says, yeah, he forced himself on me, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a prince, so
I literally thought that Alicent was poisoning Viserys, because it was such a weird thing for like that maid to have that conversation with Alicent. For her
Rhaenyra
to have money.
Having...
Yeah, but for her to have money and then be like, you want tea? And she hands the maid the tea. So I thought that was like showing like, oh yeah, she laced it with poison.
No, remember, it's the same tea that they gave Rhaenyra when she had her night with Sir Criston Cole.
Oh.
So she gave her that tea, which is like, I don't know, plan B in a tea? I don't even know. But that's what she gave her.
But then that maid disappears.
Yeah, because she told her to. She told her to leave and to never come back.
I thought she died.
You thought she killed her?
Does anyone want to start a conspiracy theory with me?
You know what? I mean, you could be right. We don't know for sure. But I didn't think so, because she seemed very empathetic to her situation. Just because she's been in that situation of, not exactly wanting it.
Yes. I took it as like I'm going to look empathetic, but you know what, bitch? I've killed people in Harrenhal before. I could kill again. I thought we were getting that side of Alicent where it was like, she's capable of doing what she wants.
Well, people do think that she was poisoning the king. So you won't be the only one who thinks that.
Okay. Thank you, my community.
My 2 followers.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Me and my dad.
And he doesn't even watch this show.
No, but moving on.
Oh,
Wait,
it's
hold on.
milk
I
of
have
the
my notes.
poppy.
Milk of the poppy.
So it's to calm his pain, but it's a sedative. So I think that's why he was like, okay, kind of weird that you're giving him this.
Yeah. So just to move on, because Rhaenyra's there, Viserys does bring up to Otto, who by the way is back, which is Alicent's dad. Now
Yeah,
the right
he was
hand
back
man
in
of
the
the
last
king.
one.
Yeah, but now he's in the kingdom because they were at a funeral
he's
last time.
there.
But he Viserys basically tells Otto, all of my family is here. I want to have supper. Like, we need to have supper together.
Yeah, because like, when are you going to have all of your family together?
So,
well, actually, wait. Before the supper. So, remember, Sir Corlys is gone. So if he's gone, someone has to take over his fleet. Like, someone has to take over, the sail side of the kingdom, right? Because that's what he is reigning over. But he's been gone this whole time, so they have to reassure, like, who is the next in line, which it should be the eldest of Rhaenyra, which is Jacaerys, but the brother to Sir Corlys wants the position. And they kind of have this like showdown, I guess, in the throne room. But before this meeting, Rhaenyra is again freaking out because her kids, they could be, killed because of this if, they're named bastards. And so Viserys can't really move a whole lot. And he's like not really in the right state of mind. And so she visits him that night and she's just like begging him, like, if you love me, you have to defend me. Like, you have to like help me because I can't do it by myself because the whole kingdom is going to be looking at her and judging her. And so King Viserys is not in his right state of mind. So he doesn't say anything. She also tells him, like, you wanted me to carry this, this burden, but I need you to help me, like, at least like lift it a little bit, right? And so when they have that meeting in the throne room, the brother to Sir Corlys is there and he pretty much like insults Jacaerys. And it's so funny because no one wants to say it again, but he just says it. He's like, these kids are bastards. I thought that was
Sir Corlys.
No, he's gone. He was gone at this point. That's his brother.
Okay.
Were we watching the same show?
No, because I thought his brother was the one who shows up at the end of the last episode when he's talking.
No, okay, it's his brother.
Go ahead.
No, that's Sir Corlys who shows up. That's Rhaenys' husband.
Okay.
Because remember, he's like, oh, I would have killed my men who weren't looking, weren't watching me or who fell asleep or whatever. That was her husband.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway, so in this meeting in the throne room, who is it run by? Is it run by Otto, who is the right-hand man? It is, right? Yes, so he's telling people, okay, state your thoughts. Like, we're all going to take turns and say why you deserve it. And so the brother goes first, which is Sir Corlys' brother. Is it Sir Corlys or is it King Corlys?
Sir Corlys.
Okay, so Sir Corlys' brother is there, and he's just like is talking about how, it's in my blood, the sea and the salt and whatever, the ocean is in my blood, so I deserve to, take over for my brother in his absence, or, he's presumed dead at this point, but,
Yeah.
And I feel bad because Jacaerys is kind of in the same position as Aegon, Alicent's Aegon, because he also doesn't really care for this, but Rhaenyra is speaking for him and she's like, no, my son deserves it because he is the first grandson. And he's just like, no, those two kids, no, they're bastards. And then Daemon like chops his freaking head off.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because they had made after the bastard comment.
I'm sorry. I forgot something.
What?
It was really, this moment was actually so sad to me. I don't know how you felt watching this moment, but before the head chopping, so King Viserys actually does show up. He freaking drags himself to his throne. Yeah, which I was
walks
just like,
himself up, and then his crown falls, and Daemon picks it up.
and he puts it back on him. Yeah. But then that's when the brother is like insulting them, and it's so sad because King Viserys doesn't have any strength, but he pulls out his little dagger and he's like,
I'm ready, bitch.
I'm gonna have your tongue, bitch, because he calls them bastards.
He says that, and then Daemon is the one who slices and is like, oh, he can have his tongue.
And
it's fine.
Yeah, he can keep it. It's whatever. But yeah, that moment was so emotional to me, just seeing him like dragging his frail body, and also half of his face. We don't know what's going on with half of his face yet, but he has kind of like a Phantom of the Opera kind of mask where it's like only half of his face, but it's like golden.
Yeah, and so to speed it up a little bit, he does mention like, you guys shouldn't be questioning me. My heir is still Rhaenyra, and that's basically like the end of it. We cut to supper and everyone is eating together, and he shows up and they carry him in his seat, and he takes off the golden piece of his mask
because he wants them to see him for how he is. Yeah,
he tells them like, you guys should get along and love each other, and you should like know me not only as king, but as a grandpa, as a dad, as a brother. Like, you guys need to know me, and I want, I love all of you.
Yeah.
And they all start giving toasts. Dude, did they even eat? They did so many freaking toasts in this episode. Because it was Rhaenyra who gave, I think, the first toast, and it was to
after
Alicent.
him.
And basically saying like, before you were queen, we were friends.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can get back to that point. And does Alicent actually cry? Like, are those genuine tears?
I can't tell with her. Like, I don't know if they're genuine or not, but I think that she was moved in that moment. Just in that moment.
Because she felt different.
Yeah, but it only lasted like 2 seconds.
I know. They caught me lacking, dude.
Caught me slipping.
And then there's like I think, I don't know if it's in this point, but I do want to say it is mentioned that Bela and Ray are going to be marrying Jace and Luke.
And the reason why that's happening is because Rhaenys still felt very like resentful towards Rhaenyra, so Rhaenyra promised her kids to like kind of strengthen the family.
Yes. So I think is it Jace who's sitting next to Aegon?
I think so. Yes, it is.
And Aegon basically is like, do you even know how to fuck? Like, do you know where to put your penis at? And
do you know where it goes?
Freaking vulgar. And then he's like serving himself, and he goes up to, I think it's Bela. I don't remember who it is, but is basically like, oh, if you want a good time, you can talk to me. And he's being so gross, and freaking, he married his sister Helena. And Helena's like, don't worry, guys. Marriage is so cool. He just ignores you the whole time.
I love it. He doesn't even look at you.
Oh my God. But there is a little moment of happiness. Just like a really little moment of happiness where there is dancing, there is laughing, they're being silly.
But the Aemond was also being like kind of intimidating because it looked like he gave a toast too, no?
No, wait, hold on. Not yet. So
okay.
Everyone is happy, and this is like Viserys is like moved. You can tell that he's moved.
This is what he's been like hoping for the whole time.
And I'm glad that he left at this point because he was feeling sick, so the guards did take him back. And as soon as he leaves, we see we see Aegon, who's sitting across from Jace, and they're like right in between them is like a huge pig, and Jace is kind of laughing because I'm pretty sure he's remembering the pig and the wings.
Yeah.
And at this point, Aegon gets up and is like, I would like to make a toast to my wonderful cousins who I haven't seen in a long time. And, they're so kind, they're
loving,
so loving, and they're so strong. Look at this. Look at the strong boys over here. Strong, like their dad. It's like,
well, he didn't say the dad part, but yeah.
Yeah, but you can, he words it in a way where it's like, who he's talking about. And I think Allison is first to be like, why the fuck would you say that? Because we were having such a good moment, but that's basically where the night ends. And everyone...
There is a final scene. Can we just skip to the final scene? Okay, so in the final scene, King Viserys is in his bed, but he's very delirious. So Queen Alicent comes in and she's kind of by his side, and he tells her, "You wanted to know if I believe it to be true." And she's confused. She doesn't know what he's talking about, but he says Aegon. And he's like, the dream, the Song of Ice and Fire, it is true. What he saw in the north, the prince that was promised. And she's like, Prince Aegon? He's like, yeah, he's the prince that's going to unite the realm against the cold and the dark. It's you. You're the one. You have to do this. Please do this. And she's just like, I understand. And it's like, he thought that she was Rhaenyra.
Yep.
But she didn't.
Because it was the other that. Aegon, right?
Yeah, the little Aegon, the tiny one.
Oh my god! It'd be
when
funny
that
if,
happened,
he was like, "Ooh, wrong kid."
I know, right? When that happened, I feel like it didn't really hit me because I kept hearing people saying like, "Oh my god, the ending of this episode, so crazy, so crazy." So I watched it and I was like, I don't get it. So I watched the ending again because he was kind of mumbling in the beginning, and so I was like, oh, he's talking about the other Aegon, the little one.
He is.
Oops.
And
yikes.
It sucks too because I think after Alicent leaves, you see Viserys on his bed and he says Aema and he reaches for the sky.
No, he doesn't say Aema. He says my love.
Oh, you're right. He does say my love.
Which I mean,
and then
same thing.
You know what he's talking about. They're the same word. I didn't hear it different.
Yeah.
It makes
me
sad.
So you knew, okay, this time for real, he's gone. For real. It's like that one. It's like that one king from Shrek who just would not die.
How did you feel about this episode?
Dude, I was so sad because before the final scene, it really felt like Alicent had finally relented. She was like, okay, fine, Rhaenyra will be queen because they had that moment at the dinner, right? But then that final scene was what really hit the nail in the coffin. She was like, never mind. I was right all along. It's going to go to my firstborn, Aegon. And I just felt really damn, of course, I already knew it's not going to be a happy ending, but still, I was kind of hoping the happiness would drag on a little bit longer. But this whole show moved very quickly, so I wasn't expecting much.
It is moving very,
much
very
happiness, I mean.
Okay, so
but I was in. I freaking hate older Aegon though. I could not freaking stand him since the very beginning.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I wasn't
You
Team
don't
Aegon.
agree? You don't agree, do you?
No, I hate Aegon. I thought we were talking about Aemon. Sorry. They're the same kid to me.
Oh, no, they're not. They're very different.
No, they are very different, but I don't like Aegon at all. I don't think he's a capable, heir
he's not capable of anything but screwing shit up.
Yeah. And Aemon,
and
I'm also starting to hate.
What I hate, though, is that Alicent knows this. She knows that Aegon does not give a shit about the kingdom. That this kid cannot lead. And she's over here no. He was promised by Aegon the Conqueror or whatever. Stupid.
Yep. So, moving on to the next episode.
Which is the Greens. The Greens episode.
That was the weekend before, right?
Yes, so pretty much it's the one where it's only the Green Council. Like we don't see Rhaenyra or Daemon or any of the Blacks.
Oh, you're right, because it's the day that Alicent figures out that the king died, and they are having a meeting, and at the
with
meeting,
her council.
Yes, at the meeting, her dad Otto brings up, you know what? Alicent did say that his last words, he did reinstate Aegon
as his
heir.
true heir.
And everyone was kind of just like, okay, moving on.
But the thing is that they were kind of already planning on surpassing Rhaenyra, even if she was queen. They were kind of just like, well, we were kind of hoping for this anyway. So
except for one of them.
Yeah, except for one. But one of them, oh, okay. Well, that really offended Alicent because she was like, oh, you guys were going to move. You were going to do things over my head. Like you weren't going to tell me that you were going to try to like hurt Rhaenyra and her kids or whatever. And they were kind of just like, well, that's just the name of the game. So one of them was angry though, because he was like, no, you can't go past King Viserys' last wish. His last wish was Rhaenyra. He loved Rhaenyra. There's no way that he would have gone back on his word because he's known him for like, I don't know how long. And he's like, and I know that he would not have done this without anyone else in the room, right? And freaking Sir Christian Cole freaking pops out of nowhere and kills this man.
Yeah, dude, so fucking quick too.
Yeah, he like slammed his face on the table, and I think he just like pierced his eye or something.
Yep. So they are like, they want to move quick. They want to move quick before Rhaenyra figures out what has happened.
But the thing is that Alicent doesn't want anything bad to happen to Rhaenyra, and she keeps stating it like, no, like that's not what my husband would have wanted. Like, he loved her. We're not going to deny that. But everyone else is like, you really want to leave that by chance? Like, she's not going to just go silently, right? But what else happened?
So they need to reinstate the king. They need Aegon to be there so they can make him the king. But he's gone. He's not at home.
Yeah, and he's been like MIA.
It's funny because Helena is like in the room. And Alicent is like, where's Aegon? It's like, not here. Like, I don't know where the fuck he is. And they basically send like a search party to find him. And they go to so they go to, is it the Silk Roads?
Yeah.
And you basically see like the type of stuff Aegon was into. He went to the brothels. He went to like children fighting.
Yeah, it was crazy.
In some of these places, he has children there. So he has had children with other people. And it's like, yeah, they're literally just scattered everywhere. He doesn't care. And
he has no empathy, no remorse. He does not give a fuck.
Nope, he does not. And he does get found by both parties. And he's not happy, because he doesn't even want to be king. And I think there was a point where was Aegon gonna kill him? No, not Aegon. Was Aemon gonna kill him?
I don't think so. So basically what happens is when they finally find him, let's just scoot forward. When they finally find him, Aemon grabs Aegon, and Aegon is so like distraught. He's just like, I don't want this. You know that I'm not fit for this. I can't rule. And Aemon is looking at him like, yeah, I know you can't rule. Like, he knows this. So he looks like he's hesitating. I took it as he was hesitating in letting him go. Like, because he was going to get on a boat and never to be seen again. That's what I thought he was hesitating for. I didn't think he was going to kill him, because I do think that he does kind of care about his brother. Yeah. But I can see it in Aemon that he wants to be the king, right? Because he's more like, yes, he does. I guess, suited for it. Yeah. But eventually they do just take Aegon. He kind of like eventually gives up, and they take him back to his mom.
Yes. Even goes like, do you love me, Mom?
Oh, yeah, he did say that. He said, but do you love me? And she called him an imbecile.
Yeah.
But she was telling him like, oh, like everyone is doing this for you. Like everyone wants you to be king. Like you just need to get up there and, pretty much like act like the king, I guess.
Yes. So was this the episode where Rhaena from Dragonstone. Is it Rhaena?
Rhaenys. Oh, okay, so I think it was before this scene, but pretty much Alicent is trying to get everyone to bend the knee for Prince Aegon. So she's trying to see who her allies are, right? Before anyone gets out and tells Rhaenyra. She doesn't want Rhaenyra and Daemon to find out because they're both very relentless people. And she knows that they're not going to go down without a fight. And so she does go up to Rhaenys, which is, remember, the Princess Rhaenys, the queen who never was. She is Sir Corlys's wife. And the grandma to, Daemon and Laena's children. So Alicent is telling her, like, oh, this is what Viserys wanted. And she just kind of laughs about it. She's just like, okay, sure. But she doesn't want to let her go until she declares her loyalty to Prince Aegon. But she's also not, it's not like she's threatening her life. She's just kind of like, yeah, well, I just don't want Rhaenyra to know right now. So I'm just going to keep you in this room. But a knight comes in and gets her out.
And she gets to see Aegon become the king.
Yes, because they do it very quickly. They gather up the whole, a good chunk of the kingdom. And yeah, they just declare him as king. Everything just happens so fast. But it's on top of where the dragons are at. Because the dragons are underneath them. And so Rhaenys, while this is happening, while he's being crowned and people are cheering him on, she kind of escapes and she gets on her dragon, which is below them. And does she make an exit? She really makes the exit. She just busts out.
Uh-huh. And she gets the dragon close enough to where it looks like he's going to breathe fire on them. And then she leaves.
But that part, how did you feel about that part? Because when it looks like the dragon is going to breathe fire on them, Alicent immediately gets in front of King Aegon now. And she's just kind of closes her eyes and kind of accepts it. Oh, this is how I'm going to die.
I didn't really think much about that.
Really? She literally went in front of all of her kids.
But still fuck her, No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
You're so mean.
I don't know. I didn't think much about that because I didn't think that they were actually going to die.
The story would be over.
I know, but I did think that this is just going to be a fuck you for keeping me out in the dark. I'm not going to listen to anything you said. Because remember, Rhaenys did have a conversation with Alicent and basically said, I don't know why you're doing all this for your son to be king. Didn't you want to be? Haven't you ever wanted that? The crown? Why aren't you doing it for yourself?
Yeah, why don't you sit on the Iron Throne? But it's not like she actually wants her to. She's just kind of giving her the idea, why didn't you ever think about this? So you're going to serve your husband and now you want to serve your son?
Yeah. So I think that was a big fuck you to that conversation because it's okay, Alicent, you just showed me what you really wanted. Yes. I love this episode.
Yeah, this episode was really good. I felt so the tensions were so high and I was so shocked to see how many people were still loyal to Rhaenyra, even though the Greens were surrounding them, there were still people there that were no, I'm just going to stick with Rhaenyra because that's what the king wanted.
Yep.
But I mean, people were cheering Aegon on at the end. I was surprised by that. I didn't know that so many people wanted him to be king because he's so young and he's such a drunk.
Yep.
But I guess in their mind, anything is better than Rhaenyra, right? Because she's a girl.
I fucking hate that. But yeah, I do agree that's how they were thinking. And I don't know. Aegon, I didn't think he was even going to do anything when they had crowned him king. So even when he started cheering, I was shocked that he did anything.
I was like, wait, it's getting into him now. The power. Because he is that type of person, right? To be moved by the power. So I'm a little bit nervous. I do know he's probably going to be really bad. To anyone who has watched Game of Thrones, I feel like he's probably going to be as bad as Joffrey, maybe worse. But I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm just
gosh.
They're probably going to be aged up too, I'm assuming. Okay, so the last episode, we are finally here, episode 10, The Black Queen. So the last episode starts off with Lucerys Or was it just Lucerys? No, it was Lucerys. Lucerys is expressing concern to his mother about him being a leader. And he just doesn't feel like he's fit to rule. And it's kind of cute because they have this moment of Rhaenyra telling him like, oh, well, just so you know, I've always been very nervous too about ruling. You know, I've been put in this position since I was 14 years old, but you know what? My dad helped me. So just know that your mother's going to help you. And they have this moment of when they like hug and stuff, but then Rhaenys shows up and Rhaenys calls for the attention of both Rhaenyra and Prince Daemon. And so they're all together and she just tells them the king is dead, just so you know. And King Aegon, well, Prince Aegon, oh, whatever. She says, and Aegon was crowned king. And obviously Rhaenyra is emotional because, first of all, she lost her dad and she lost her position, right? Like, she was supposed to be the queen. She was the rightful heir. And now her brother is was crowned king. And so she's hella pregnant. No one forget that. And so she is having a moment. And Rhaenys is telling them, warning them, just so you know, the greens are coming for you, so get ready. But Rhaenyra, she goes into labor. And it's way too early, but she has to push this baby out. So she's bleeding all over. She's in her room. Her maids are there. And while she's, you know, pushing the baby out, Daemon is trying to, what's the word? I guess, prepare for the war? He like has this whole group of people there and he's like trying to lead them, trying to tell them like, okay, you're going to go over here, you're going to go over here, and we're going to make sure that we don't see any dragons. And they're saying like, okay, they have dragons, but they only have 3. We have like 5. And so they're trying to do all this, but at the same time, Rhaenyra is struggling with her pregnancy or her labor.
You can literally hear her while they're planning.
Yeah, she's screaming. And Jacaerys and Lucerys go in to see their mom. And Rhaenyra tells Jacaerys, because Jacaerys, we don't really get much of his character besides like when he was younger. But in this episode, and probably the one before the last, you can tell that he's become very moody. Like, he's just very angry. I'm assuming it's because of him being a bastard. I'm just assuming. But yes. He's just very angry. And so he goes to see his mom with Lucerys, and the mom tells him, like, no war. We're not going for war. So go tell Daemon that. And so he goes down to where the council is and he tells Daemon, like, no, like, my mom doesn't want this. She doesn't want us to prepare for battle. And Daemon kind of ignores it, but he also tells him, well, you have to be ready for this. So I'm going to show you like what to do pretty much. So they go outside and I guess they're just kind of seeing their loyalties, right? Because there's these 2 knights that are there that came from the kingdom, and he wants to make sure that they're loyal to Rhaenyra and that they're pretty much die for her. And they're just like, yeah, we'll die for her no matter what. Doesn't matter. Test me. One of the guys was like, I won't even get married. I don't know.
Oh my God.
My whole life will be to Rhaenyra. And so it's a really sad moment. Trigger warning, Rhaenyra does have the baby, but the baby is a stillborn.
Yes.
And so she's holding this baby, but it kind of cuts to the next scene of her burning the baby, but it's like the funeral scene. And in this moment, there is one of the knights comes. I think his name is Sir Eric. I'm not sure which knight it is,
Eric.
To be honest.
It was Eric.
So he shows up and he pulls out a crown that I'm assuming he took from the kingdom, I think, because it looks familiar, but I'm not 100% sure like whose crown this is. And so he gives it to her, and in this moment she has the crown on her head and everyone is just like bending the knee to her. So we're seeing that even though Aegon is now like the official king, people are still seeing Rhaenyra as their queen, right? So there's like this disparity between the two. Yeah, this divide between the two sides, I guess.
Yeah.
And so then Otto wants to have a moment with Rhaenyra. So he shows up at like the midpoint of like Dragonstone.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're there and Rhaenyra is pissed. Like, she's just like, no, you guys went over my dad's wishes. Like,
Yeah.
Aegon is no king and you're no like hand to the king. And so she takes his pin and throws it. And Daemon is so ready to like have the dragon just burn all of these people and just kill them off right here, right now. And he's trying to kind of command over Rhaenyra, but the dragon is Rhaenyra's. So it ends up listening to her, and she's just like, no, like, no, like, we're not doing this. And so she leaves, and I think she was moved by the picture, but she's also saying, so in this next moment, there's like a council meeting, and she's with like all of the people, and they're kind of like waiting for her orders. Yeah. And she tells them, like, I don't want to be, Queen of Ash and Bone. Like, I don't want to start this war. Like, if I have to answer for it, I will, but I don't want to start it. Like, she wants to be like her dad, because King Viserys was known as King Viserys the Peaceful. So she doesn't want to start the war. But Daemon is like completely opposite. He's just like, no, like, it's not okay that they just went over you. Like, you're supposed to be the queen. And so they kind of have like an argument, like a visual argument. So she has everyone leave, right? And so I forgot why she brings up the Song of Ice and Fire, but this kind of triggered Daemon, and he hella starts choking her. Yeah. And I think it's because he was offended that he didn't know that prophecy, because she kind of laughs it off after he's done choking her. She kind of laughs it off like, oh, he never told you about the prophecy. And so, hold on, what happens after that? And so after that, Rhaenyra's children, so Jacaerys and Lucerys, they want to help out. So by them helping out is they're going to go deliver messages from their mom. So Lucerys would go to the Stark home. And I forgot where Jacaerys was going, but wherever Jacaerys was going was further. And Lucerys was just going to go somewhere that was closer because he's younger. And so Rhaenyra's writing her letters, or she gives them the letters, and she reminds them, do not fight. This is just like a message. You're just my messengers, okay? And she makes them swear that they're not going to fight. And they're just like, okay, no war today, okay? Don't worry, Mom. And so they both leave. They both go to wherever it is that they're going to go. And Rhaenyra is there in the castle still because she's trying to lead everyone, I guess. And what happened first? So we're with Lucerys now. Is there anything you wanted to add before I keep going?
No, because I want to add it at the very end.
Okay. So, something to note also is that Rhaenyra makes it a point to include the girls in the conversation. So she'll go up to Baela and Rhaena and she'll be like, come. Like, she wants to include them in the discussion of like what they're going to do in terms of responding to the Greens. And so now we're with Lucerys, and Lucerys goes to the Starks' place, and he's there. He gets off his dragon, his little tiny dragon, in comparison to the big ass monstrosity on the side. Because he gets off, and it's like hella raining, but you can see like the fucking silhouette of Vhagar. And obviously, if you've been keeping up, you know that's Aemon's dragon. So he sees the dragon, but he's just like, gotta deliver my message. So he goes in and he's like trying to deliver this message, trying to remind the Starks, like, oh, you made a promise to my family. And Aemon is there, and he's just kind of like smirking. He's always smirking. He's just always pursing his lips. There's always something funny. and so the Stark king, is that a king? I don't know what he is. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if he's a king, but whatever. So the Stark person, he's just like laughing it off. He's like, oh no, Aemon's gonna give me weapons. He's gonna give me this and that. And all you want to do is remind me of a promise that I didn't even make. He's like, okay, well, how about you betroth yourself to one of my daughters? And he's like, oh, I can't. I'm already betrothed.
Spoken for.
Yeah, exactly. And so he is like about to leave because, you know, this whole thing was a waste. And Aemon starts getting like aggressive. You know, he starts taunting him. He's just like, oh, you know what? An eye for an eye. He starts like grabbing his little dagger out. And he's mostly just doing it for the thrill, right? You could tell he's not actually serious like about this. Like, this is a joke. Remember, they're cousins. And he does tell him like, oh, you think that I'm just going to let you leave when you try to surpass my brother, the king? No. I can't let you live. For that, I need your eye. But the Stark guy is like, no, you can't do this here. I need you to not fight in my home. And so Lucerys leaves. He's running away, but it's like pouring rain. He's trying to get on his dragon, which I think the dragon's name is Arax. And so he gets on the dragon and he like flies off and he's like trying to go back home. And then you see this freaking big ass dragon underneath his dragon. It's like the biggest thing ever. His dragon is literally a bug. Like, it's like a flea. It's a flea on that dragon. It's so tiny. And so before he got on Arax, his dragon, he told him, you have to serve me. You have to listen to me. Make sure that you do what I'm telling you to do, right? So he's trying to go home and they're in this pouring rain and the whole time Aemon is taunting him. He's just like messing around with him. And they finally get to a point where it's no longer raining. And so it seems like everything is calm. Oh, but before that, actually, the dragon Arax did react to almost being chomped on by Vhagar. So he reacted by burning him or trying to burn him, but you know, it's like nothing to him because he's freaking huge. And so this dragon, you know, just reacted and he was pissed. And you can hear Aemon like struggling. He's like, no, calm down. And then he's like going after Lucerys and his dragon. And at this point, that's when they get to the point where it's like, okay, there's no more rain. They're above the clouds now. And out of the freaking corner of the screen comes Vhagar and chomps him up. Like, he is so dead. It's so sad. Like, he's gone. I
know.
No explanation.
And you can even hear Aemon like, Vhagar, no.
Yeah, he's like, no. Like, he's freaking out because he just started a war. He just started a war unintentionally, but it happened. And this does go back to something that King Viserys mentioned, like I think in the first or second episode, where it's like, it's an illusion that people think that they can control a dragon. And, you know, we see it from time to time, but in this moment, you really see it where it's like, oh my God. First with Arax, like trying to burn Vhagar, but it's like they don't listen. Like they are just reacting to, I guess, their instincts. But so you just see, Lucerys is, well, you don't even see Lucerys. You just see pieces of both probably just like tumble down. And after this, there is a silent moment. There's no word spoken, but you just see Daemon go into the council room and you see him pretty much deliver the news. And Rhaenyra has a moment, which is very reminiscent to Daenerys' moment of like when she kind of like snapped. But she just looks at the camera. You can tell that she's pissed. So that's how season 1 ended.
Dude.
Whoa. Did I miss anything? I feel like I just went through the episode so quick.
I didn't even want to like interrupt you.
I was on a roll.
I feel like this episode kept going. And as soon as it hit this point, when Lucerys died, I had to go back. And I had to like rewatch that scene because it like happened so quick.
It really did, but that's how Game of Thrones was. Like sometimes when meaningful deaths happen, they happen so fast. It doesn't even give you time to mourn or time to like really process what happened. You just kind of have to accept like, oh my God, he was here and now he's gone.
It threw me off so bad, but I felt so bad because you can tell Aemon didn't want that to happen. And I'm not really big on Aemon that much. He's very power driven, but he didn't want this.
He didn't want that, you know, and a lot of people have been complaining about this scene because in the book, it was the opposite, that he actually meant to do that. But then there was this discussion of, well, did he actually mean to do that? Or is that what everyone thinks? Like, is that what everyone assumes? Because actually, now that I think about it, I think Damon did say something, right? No.
I don't remember.
I don't think so. But anyway, I think he's going to be declared as a murderer, but, you know, it's just this ambiguity of, well, did he mean to do it or not? You just never know.
Yeah. But it really, really sucked.
And I feel so bad because I freaking love Lucerys. He was so sweet.
He was the younger one, right?
He was the younger one. And unlike his moody brother, Jacaerys, who's older, he was so, like, sweet and loving. And even his face, like, was so... Oh, my God, I'm gonna cry. Like,
I know.
So
he
sad.
was really sweet.
He deserves so much better, dude. I'm so sad about it. Like... When that happened, I literally had to pause. I was like, no way. My boy Luke?
He was nothing like any of the other kids, though. Like,
no.
He wouldn't have survived being royalty. Like, he wouldn't have, because he did care about people who stared at him. He did feel very self-conscious in things that, you know, Jacaerys can probably handle really well, or Aemon can probably handle very well.
I feel like he's more emotional than Jacaerys, but I don't think that necessarily means he can't handle it. I mean, he was a lot younger too.
Yeah.
So just Jacaerys does have a little bit more time, you know? Because even Jacaerys doesn't like it when people look at him either, because he knows the truth.
Yeah.
But
it
hurt. It hurts so bad, dude. Like, oh my God. But people really love Aemon. Like, they love him.
I'm so glad that this was the way season 1 ended, though.
Really? How'd you think it was going to end?
I had no thoughts in my brain.
No thoughts?
Absolutely
really?
No thoughts.
So I knew that the last episode was the last time we were going to see Alicent. So I knew that there was no way that a war was already going to happen, but I was kind of hoping that more action would have happened, right? Yeah. It's a lot of discourse. It's a lot of like, okay, let's plan this out, which, you know, isn't a bad thing, but I just was kind of hoping for a little bit something more to happen. But, you know, we did lose Luke, so.
It's so sad.
I know. I'm so sad about it.
Dude, when is season 2 coming out?
In like 2 years, probably. I think they said they're going to start filming in the beginning of next year.
But I feel like this show did so freaking good.
No, yeah. Dude, I was shocked to see that the ending had as many viewers as it did, because they were comparing it to the Game of Thrones ending, like the viewership. And they were saying like that I can't remember if it did better or if it did pretty much the same. But like it had a lot of viewers.
Dude, it deserves it. It deserves it. I think this was a very solid show. And I like the fact that I really like it when books and movies and TV shows don't make it a point to like the main character. Because Rhaenyra is very morally gray.
Yeah, and I feel like Alicent is too, though.
Yes, and it irritates me. They do irritate me. But I think they're such good characters that are very, like, shaped by the situations they've grown up in. I appreciate them so much.
You know, before Game of Thrones, I don't think that I would ever get into something where the main character was so unlikable.
But now, here we are.
But then again, I did love Dany. And I mean, she wasn't unlikable until maybe the end, I guess.
Dude,
not to me, though.
I thought this was such a strong series. I think it was a good season finale because it feels like everything up to this point is just like it was just the beginning. And that's it.
Yeah, and people were saying that the next season is supposed to be slowed down. Because, you know, they had to do all these time jumps, which kind of sucks because I kind of wish that they would have, you know, grown the characters a little bit more, but then we would have been here forever.
But I think it was good.
Yeah?
I like it.
Do you want to say your overall thoughts then?
Yes, I do. Is this overall thoughts of the whole series or just this half?
I would say the whole series. Let's just say the whole series.
Okay, so like if you guys know me, I have never seen Game of Thrones, and I know you don't have to see it to watch House of the Dragons, but I just like no expectations whatsoever. And I came out loving this so much. And I know that this is my type of show, like how I watched The Witcher 2 because of this podcast. I know it's my type of show, but I never sit myself down. Yeah, so it shook me to my core.
And you really didn't want to watch it.
I didn't. I was so against it. But
Cheli's a hater.
I'm not a hater. I just really thought that I was going to dislike it. But here I am. Like, I don't want Rhaenyra to win. But I know she's going to get to a point where she is going to do a lot. And whether it be good or bad, she's going to leave an impression on that kingdom. And I want to see it happen. I want to be there. I want to be next to her when she makes those decisions.
She's probably gonna do like some really bad things.
Yes. I really hope, this is a sidebar, but I really hope we get more Helena in the next season because I am in love with her. I think she's the greatest character. And I am really excited to see if Alicent is going to do anything with the information that Rhaenys told her with the, you're here, why aren't you taking the crown? Like, I want to see more of what Alicent is capable of. Because I do feel like she's going to become just straight up evil.
You think so?
I hope so. I want that out of her. I do want to say, though, that out of everything we've watched and read, I wouldn't say this is one of my favorites. I still get I get fatigue with watching these shows because of all of the lore. Sometimes I feel like
very dense.
Exhausted. They're pulling out daggers and you're like, oh, it's the Conqueror's dagger. And I'm like, that's a fucking little knife. Okay. Like, I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
I think overall, I would say that I give season 1 a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh, wow. That's better than I thought you would give it.
What did you think I was going to give it? We didn't ask.
You seemed so annoyed by like the characters, which
I was annoyed. I do want to clear that up. Still fucking hate Rhaenyra. I am annoyed with them, but dude, the way that this show builds story is so good.
Yeah. You never said what line she said that you were like, yeah, I don't like her.
Oh, her line was when she was talking to her dad, Viserys, and was like, you made me, or you put me up to be queen. And I was down for it. But now I don't know if I'm down. And then I understand it's the stress. It's the hate that she's getting that is making her like kind of backtrack with everything that she's ever wanted. But if I was Viserys at that point, freaking dying, face half on, I'd be like, bitch, my whole life I've been trying to get you to be queen. You were gonna back up when I'm 2 days away from dying. No, like, you cannot do that. I was so angry, like, on behalf of Viserys.
What? Why were you so angry about that? I feel like it makes sense.
I know it does, but it makes me angry that she's still at that point where she just feels like she could get what she wants because she can. She can, no, and I hate that she does.
I think you're looking at it differently, though, because the way that I saw it was, she would be willing to give this up for her kids, though, had she known that this was what could happen to them.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'm just a Rhaenyra hater.
Yeah, you are, for sure. I don't know if you would like Game of Thrones then. Everyone is so
morally gray. But the thing is, I'm okay with not liking her because a show doesn't have to have a likable main character. I think it could be still told really well if the main character isn't liked. And I like that about Rhaenyra. I like that we're seeing herself kind of fall apart. She hasn't even gotten to the part where she's building herself up. But I can tell that whatever way this story is going to end, it is going to end with Rhaenyra just in deep shit. And I want to be there for that. Front row seats.
Front row seat. Yeah.
I want that.
I'm excited. I am so excited for that to happen. But so the internet is very like divided between Team Black and Team Green. Does that mean you're Team Green?
I don't know, because like I still want Rhaenyra to be queen.
Oh, you do?
I do, because I think anything is better than Aegon.
You're like Helena, maybe.
I know, literally.
I guess technically she is. I forgot they were married.
Oh, good for her. Congratulations to her too. But I just don't. I want Rhaenyra to be there. I want her to be at her highest point, and because I guess spoilers, but you had told me that in Game of Thrones it mentions that Aegon is the one that kills Rhaenyra, right?
It just says her brother. I don't know. Oh, I don't remember which brother.
But I feel like after that, the kingdom is going to change. And I want it to get to that point where she is most likely going to be queen. And I want to see what change that is. I don't think Aegon should be king. I don't think he's capable of it. I fucking hate that kid.
He's gonna fuck shit up. I just know he is.
Yep. Oh, gosh. But yeah, 3.5 out of 5.
You didn't answer the question. What team are you in?
Team Rhaenyra. Whatever side she goes, I follow, even if I hate that bitch.
Oh, Team Black. Okay.
Yes.
It's because that's how it is on Twitter right now. Team Black, Team Green.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Team Green because of the color of her people for war?
Yeah, because she's always wearing green.
Good for her. Queen.
Okay, so my overall thoughts for this season, I did have a couple of complaints. I've already mentioned them, but I do feel like the time skips kind of gave me a little bit of whiplash, because I was just like, okay, we're moving way too fast. And then I still feel, even though we're way past it, I still feel very sad that we never got like anything substantial between Rhaenyra and Sir Harwin Strong, because I feel like he was like the ideal man. He was like, you know what, girl, I don't care if I'm your side thing. Like, I'm not gonna say anything. You don't owe me anything. Like, I just really wanted to see something more between them, but that's just like the romance in me. And I really loved seeing, you know, everything between the families. I loved how much I ended up caring for King Viserys, because at first I was not his fan. But then afterwards, I don't know, like, I guess he really did just want peace. Like, it's not ideal for a king, I guess, but I was down. I was like, damn.
I was King down Viserys too, and I was so sad when he died.
Yeah, same. It made me really sad because he really wanted his family to be united, and he was practically like begging them, like, this is how I want you guys to be. But of course, it didn't last very long. I loved the character. I love the character growth between all of the characters, obviously, but mainly the main one. So Rhaenyra, and seeing how much she's grown. Yeah, I do agree. Like, some of the things she did was annoying, but don't care. Love her. And Alicent, like, it's so weird because I did not hate her in the beginning. Like, when we did the first part, so episode 1 through 5, there were times where I was like, I don't know, there's something about Alicent that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. But overall, I was kind of hoping for the best. And then as soon as I think episode 6 happened, I was like, oh no, I can't stand her. I cannot stand her. And when she tried to take Lucerys's eye, I was so angry. I was like, dude, that's a child. You're crazy. But I kind of feel the same way as you do with Rhaenyra, that I really like hating her. Like, I don't know, like, she's just fun to watch. Like, I'm just so interested to see like what's gonna happen. And I feel like two things make me feel more sympathetic to her. One being, you know, being forced into this marriage, and then her being able to connect with that maid who was hurt by her son. So that moment when that happened, I was like, okay, so she's not as bad as she sometimes is. And then the other thing would be how she was really she really did not want anything bad to happen to Rhaenyra because she knew how much she meant to her husband, the king. And I thought that really spoke to her character, that she still has like this loyalty to him. Even if it would be easier to just off with her head, she still has this like sense of, oh, like I have to do this because, you know, the king loved her. And then the third one was actually that last scene of her where she was like ready to die for her kids, even though they would all die. But like, I thought it was really sweet that she would immediately go in front of everyone, no hesitation. So that made me kind of hate her a little less, but still, like, she's overall an annoying character. But I loved Lucerys, but I am excited to see like what's gonna happen with Jacaerys and the other Joffrey and what's the other kids' names? Aegon and Viserys, right? So I am excited to see like what's gonna happen with that family, and in turn like what's gonna happen with Aemon and Aegon and Helena. Like I just want to see like the cousins interact again. Like I'm excited for that moment. So, yeah, I really liked it overall. I'm excited to see the next season. I thought the ending was absolutely perfect. I think that it's popular for a reason, right? Like, I think it's rightfully getting this much attraction because everyone is so in love with how, I guess, dense the plot is. Like, there really is so much happening. And I understand why people get annoyed when certain things are changed or manipulated or not portrayed in the way that it was in the book. But I feel like overall it's still a good story though. I don't know exactly like how much it's altered from the book, but I think overall it's doing a really good job. So I think I would give it, for the first season, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, I thought it was really good. And but you actually wanted to bring up the reactions to this series. Was there anything in particular before we end the episode?
No, I think I mentioned everything I wanted. Shout out to that person on TikTok who said that there was a lot of parallels with season 1 of this and Shrek 1. Thank you.
So oh my god, I did see that. Oh my god. Did I send that to you? I was gonna send it to you if I didn't.
No, Niall sent it to me.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. But,
it was a really good first season. Oh my god, this podcast always getting me to watch stuff that I feel like I'm gonna hate, but I end up loving.
That you don't want to watch.
I know, but here I am.
And I always feel bad too, like saying like, oh, maybe we should watch this because I know people are, you know, going to be really into it. Or maybe I'm into it. I don't know.
It's good though. I really enjoyed watching and talking about this with you.
The only thing that I want to bring up, which I think might be interesting for our viewers, is because you don't like Daemon, and he is possibly one of the more popular characters. Did you see the controversy that came out with Sarah Hess? One of the executive producers pretty much came out and said, like, I don't understand why people love Daemon so much. Like, there's really not to him. Like, he's not a good dad. He's not a good brother. He's not good this, whatever.
I agree.
This was before the ending, right? And so people were saying like, oh, it's because you guys are ruining his character because there's certain things that were cut out that would show him more as a morally great character. One of the moments I'm sure you saw was when his ex-wife died, he hugged his daughters, but that was taken out. And then there was other moments that were in the book that were taken out. I heard that he actually did go to Rhaenyra when she was giving birth. And there's just certain other, like, there's other things that he's done in the book that hasn't been shown.
Oh, so they're making him look worse.
Yeah, and so people are getting upset. But even though all that happened and the last episode happened with him choking her and all that, like, he's still very popular. Like,
I'm not surprised.
Like, nothing's gonna change that. And you know what's funny? I know you never saw Vampire Diaries, but people brought... Oh, you did? Did you watch all of it?
Most of it. But what about it?
people brought up Klaus. They were like, ma'am, if I support Klaus after he nearly killed Caroline and all of her friends, I can support anyone, okay? I just thought that was so funny. But,
oh my God.
I don't know how I feel about him because of the choking. I'm like, when that happened, I was like,
I know, it threw me off completely.
Get your hands off of my girl. My girl, get her off. But yeah.
Well, I am still not a fan of Damon, but I do want to see how they rule together. I'm excited to see if he's going to try to take power away from Rhaenyra.
Yeah. There's something that supposedly happens in the book that I really want to happen. And I still like him though, but I don't like the choking. I felt like that was very out of place because there never was a moment before that where he showed any violence towards her. But we did have all of these time skips, so really, who knows? I'm just excited to see like where these characters go in the next season.
Yep. Me too.
But yeah, that pretty much concludes our episode. Did you have any last thoughts?
No, I'm just excited for season 2. Oh my God, we're gonna start. This show is gonna become us just watching a lot of series and just the seasons. The season recaps, because now we have this and Stranger Things we're waiting for, and The Witcher.
Oh my God, I know. I'm so excited for all of them, but mostly Stranger Things because it'll be the ending.
Yes, but thank you for everyone who is listening to the podcast, whether it be on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts on. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars and a comment, that would be really, really nice. It really helps us get more exposure. Also, if you can just tell your friends, family, loved ones, hated ones about us, that would be great because the best type of exposure is through word of mouth. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe. How did you feel about the ending of season 1? Are you excited for season 2? Do you think you're going to continue watching? Please let us know. I don't think we have to roll a die for this one.
No, I think we're good here.
Yeah, but we are going to have weird episodes for a bit. So I'm sorry if the audio is different, but we will be together again soon.
And hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. Please be patient with us. It won't be that much, like maybe like 2 more episodes, 2 or 3.
Yeah. So please bear with us. But thank you so much for listening and watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.